an example for NPV function, one of those block functions. Because as you can see, when we are doing the function, we are gonna apply it over several cells. And that's the reason they are called block functions. And please, although it seems easy to do it on your own Excel sheet. Change numbers and practice with that. Okay, so we go for calculation of the present value of these positive cash flows that we have, because as you remember, when you are using NPV, the first number that you have is considered year one. So that's the reason here it says first calculate the NPV of the positive cash flows, because it started from 0. But our function, the function, not our, NPV, starts from here. So that's the reason. Okay, NPV, and it goes A1, 5%. You can put 5% directly here. But this way is more professional, structured, because when you have this, you can quickly start changing these numbers to many things. B5 to B9. B5 starts from here. So now we are taking these values, B5 to B9. So it calculates the present value of this thing. So you see, we are not using now PMT or that type of thing. It's way easier, but you should know both of them. As I told you, it's about thinking like a financial manager. So you should have a good understanding of a different perspective on the same problems. So here we have, it gets the NPV B5 to B9, as you can see. And while you are practicing on your Excel sheet, you can also experience it better. And the result is 216. So here, when it calculates the present value, like the regular definition and the obvious definition that we have for present value, it put the value here. Present value is always for 0 year, now. So 2016, 47. So we get the value of all these things. Now you should understand how the system works. And now you have a value of the present value of this thing, and also you have this minus 200 here. Notice that this returns a positive number. And now you have minus 200 as the real present value of the investment or anything you do at the beginning of the timeline. And the result is 16.47. And that's it. So it was an example of using NPV function. With this example, I want to brag more about the power and flexibility of NPV function. Here I have put for you a case that you see has a gradient. What is that gradient? Here we have 100 to 60. So here we have 60. 160 to 220, again 60. So you see there is a gradient of 60. But as you see in the title, in Excel, we don't have a G function, gradient function, because we had rate function, correct? We had PMT function, we had PV function, we had FV, we had these things. We had the rate. Did we cover everything? Yeah, also, these are the functions, these were the functions that we talked about, but we don't have gradient that you specify G. And in this situation, if you don't have NPV, if you don't want to use NPV, how you are going to create the present value of this situation? You are going to calculate the PV of this, P1, PV of this, P2. And like that, you continue and you sum up all these things. It takes time. And it doesn't look very enjoyable process. But with NPV, you put all the cash flow like this. And as always, it starts from year 1, 100, 160, you put everything here. And when you calculate the NPV, it put the results here, period 0. And it's what's happening here, NPV. And here it has put direct 14% here. And what is the blocks? What are the blocks? What are the cells you need to get? You need to get all these blocks. It starts B3, as you can see. B3 is 100 and B8 is the last one. So it gets and it calculates the present value, that is 883. And again, please do it on your system again. So you are practicing, and always practice makes perfection. I have an example for you for IRR here. And by the way, my friends, these examples that I'm showing you, they are classic examples. When you see here, it is the copyright is 2017. It doesn't mean they are obsolete or anything. For example, now that I'm recording this video for you, it is December 23, 2025. So they are classic. Don't think that this type of thing are obsolete. No, they are still the state-of-the-art technology that we use in calculation of any financial statement that we want to use. Okay, because you are developing your own system. They are not some commercial softwares that we are just giving the input and they give you the results. No, with your logic you construct them. So in fact, let me tell you this, they are not self-service softwares. So that's the reason you feel rewarded at the end when you get the results, because you believe you have done it yourself. And okay, let's go with IRR, internal rate of return. That gives us the interest rate or rate of return. You say that I don't want to use this, I want to use rate, that I'm good with that. But pay attention here. Here again we have gradient. At year 1 it is 30. At year 2 it is 40. At year 7 it is 50. At the year 8 it is 60. So there is a gradient. You cannot use that easily, because when you use the formula rate, there is no place to accommodate G. So the best way, let's go for IRR. And so, but remember, for IRR, where we start from year 0. in one slide that we had before, I showed you that. So that's the reason you put IRR, and you get everything from year 0 because it is important, because it's about rate of return. We have B4, very good. And at the end, we have B9. So here, internal rate of return of this cash flow that we get, and it is telling you it is 6.91%. So you just give it the cash flow and it calculates it. For NPV, it is for 1 to 5. Present value would be 12, and IRR. All the calculations in one page. If you are running it on your system and you are getting another answer, something that doesn't make sense, contact me right away. I want to brag more about capabilities of IRR and NPV. Even when our gradient is geometric, for example, each year cash flow is a specific coefficient times the previous period cash flow, and absolutely we don't have direct formula for that, but again NPV jumps to our help. Again IRR jumps to our help. Here we have a very good case of geometric gradient, and you just notice what does it mean. See, every year cash flow, so cash flow of year n plus 1 equals cash flow of year n times 1.1. Here is that thing. It is not a fixed gradient. Every year gets 10, 10, 10, 10. No, every year gets last year times a fixed coefficient. And here it is 1.1. That you can see here. It says increase is 10%. And just imagine how much sophisticated calculation you can handle with this function. So here for year 1 we have 100. 100 times 1.1 is 110. 110 times 1.1 is 121, and like that. And since you are going to do all these things, calculations on your system, I'm pretty sure you are going to grasp a very good understanding of the things. So these are the costs that are geometric gradient, and it is the formula B7 no here it goes with the gradient, as you can see, B8 times 10%. It should be okay, but it should be B9 10%. B8. Okay, so typos also always happens, and I'm gonna do it to make sure we are right with that, so I don't want to leave you confused now. So we are gonna make an Excel sheet on this thing to make sure everything is right. And finally here we have NPV, again net present value of B7 to B11. Yeah, there is a typo here.